and welcome to Leon Solent video, and this is our first one that we've done. Strange times call for different ways of acting, and fortunately we've got social media, which is brilliant for keeping in touch at this time. It has its drawbacks, but at this time this is something amazing that we can use to keep in touch with each other. I've even found Zoom. If you don't know about Zoom, look it up. It's useful for certain things. So we plan to put videos onto our Sunday talks onto YouTube. We'll also put links to them on our Facebook page as well, so keep in touch with that. We may well be doing Facebook Live as well. Just again, something that's new to a lot of us. So be patient as we try and work these things out and work out how it's going to work and the best way of doing it. I think one of the main things we can do is to keep connected, whatever way. As a church, we want to keep connected. We want to connect with you guys, and we want to know what's going on with you. And if it's possible, we'll do some face-to-face meeting, just in small groups, keeping distance, of course. If not, then it's WhatsApp and things like this. But I think one of the problems of social media, of course, is that it can distract from us and from our time with God, and it can cause us to lose our peace. So it's got some positives, but it also has these issues as well. So I'm determined to use this extra time that we've got. And at the moment it's been pretty busy, so I must admit there's not been a lot of extra time, but I'm determined if there's any extra time that I get, then I want to use as much as I can to press into God, to get into the Word, to pray and to seek Him. I want to seek His heart, and I really want to draw closer to Him. And that's been my hunger for such a while now. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Now, it can sound like hard work. It can sound like all these people talk about intercession, about fasting, about being a prayer warrior and so on. Those things are great, and let's do that. That's fine. But if it tires you, if you're not in that place, if you've had a busy, stressful life up to now and you're not sure, how am I going to do this? How about just going for a walk with Jesus? How about just taking, if you're a mother, perhaps you need to take the children to the swing park and sit, and while they're on the swings, pray, thank God for the day, whatever, pushing the pram, thanking God for the day. Some of you washing up, worship music on, fixing the car, listening to a podcast, driving in the car with a podcast, whatever works for you, but finding a way that you can connect with God. I think that is so important, and it's something so that when we get back together as a church, we won't be in that place of a spiritual desert, but we will have grown with God. Yeah? Okay, I want to encourage you with that. We may need to be creative, but let's do it. I was reading the story of Luke, of the woman with the issue of blood in Luke 8 the other day, and it reminded me again of her determination to press into Jesus. She was self-isolating. We know all about that, don't we? She shouldn't have been out. She should have been locked away in her home. But she wanted to press into Jesus. And the crowd was around him, and she pushed through the crowd and she grabbed hold of the edge of his shawl. And there was a hunger there, a real determination. She pushed past shame. She pushed past the words, the comments that may have been made, the disapproving looks. She had to push her way in, a woman on her own, in a situation where she was not meant to be, but she wanted to be with Jesus, and that took everything. That's what she wanted more than anything, and she got her healing. Now, I'm not asking you to come out of self-isolation if that's where you're meant to be, but I am saying push into God. Go past every barrier to find Him. That's what I intend to do, because there's so much anxiety and stress out there in the world that we press into the Father. We take peace into the world. Somebody recently I was listening to on a podcast said about being a non-anxious presence, living in that place with Jesus where we've been seeking Him, we've been praying, we've been worshipping, we're walking in a place of peace, and we step into people who are in anxious situations, however that is done, and we bring a non-anxious presence and we change situations. Let's start doing it now. We may not be able to meet with people in the same way, but we need to build something up for when we can. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas on how you carve out time for practicing the presence of God and finding peace in an anxious time. Is there something that you do that others can learn from, that they can be encouraged by? I'm going to put this on Facebook as well, link to this video on Facebook, so put your comments on the bottom there. It'd be great to hear from you. Positive comments about how you can seek God and what you do, and we can all get ideas from each other. How are you using this time?
Okay, take 427. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You choose. What a great book. If you've not read it, it's worth a go. Really helps to expand the kids' minds, the little ones. I loved it with my grandson. Being able to stretch his thinking to think of where he could live and what he could wear and who his friends could be and the different scenarios. Anyway, I'm going to talk about you choosing, me choosing, us choosing. Our decisions determine our destiny. And it's so essential that we choose the right things. So we choose to follow him. Of course, we follow Jesus, who chose the cross. He chose to go and lay his life down for me and for you. So, funny story. Well, not funny story. Funny observation. We make 11 judgments in 7 seconds, which now means that you've made more judgments than you'd ever want to admit to. And that's just about this message, about seeing me. I'm a bit freaked out as well, seeing me. So anyway, you make these judgments. I went to the doctors or went to the hospital, and I was thinking about this message, and I was thinking how where I'd sat had really been affected by my choices, all subconsciously. I sat back against the wall. I sat next to a post. I sat where I could see what everybody was doing. I wanted to be aware, and I made those decisions without even thinking, where shall I sit? I just went and did it. Jesus made a decision to go to the cross for you and for me, and he could have changed this. It could have made a completely different decision, because he was a man, because he was flesh and blood. If he wasn't a man, if he wasn't like you and me, then it would be invalid. Going to the cross would be invalid. But he endured the cross, suffered the cross, and he went that way because he chose to. There he was doing good, healing the sick, raising the dead, feeding the poor, and they wanted to crucify him. He could have said, no, that's it, I'm out. If it'd been me, take away all the nastiness, if it'd been me, I still would have had that thought, I can just walk away from this. But he didn't. He would walk right into it for us. Now, this morning, today, this evening, this afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, watching this, this is just a few thoughts about the power of our words, the power of our testimony, and the power of our choices. They change lives when we make the right choices. Choose this day who you shall serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. We used to have that as a little poster on a little brass plaque on the wall. Choose, and we went, yes, Lord, we're choosing you. Sometimes it's not easy to choose Jesus. Sometimes it's not easy to choose the right way, but to choose the right way is the only way. He chose the cross, and we can choose to follow him. Keep watching, and hopefully I'll add some fun in there as well.